So as you probably have seen, there's a whole new look that's surprising a lot of people, and the guy who's in charge of this look is now making his Dancing with the Stars debut. And we're gonna show you a clip. Something was said yesterday that I thought was really interesting. If it wasn't, I think you said it.
If he was dancing at a wedding, we'd all be impressed.
Right.
Like if he was at a wedding or a bar mitzvah, you'd be like, that guy can move.
And I can't wait to see John Bolton do the bossa nova.
I remember Sean Spicer before Trump. For me, first of all, he looks like he's having fun, so kudos to him. Enjoy your life. But life after Trump is hard, right? I mean, it's a reality show presidency. That's what we say a lot about the White House. But then where do you go after that? He did write a book, and then you go on Dancing with the Stars. But then what?
Yeah.
Then what is next?
Oh, he'll get to write a book, and he'll do a tour.
But I don't know that you're... I think he would like to be taken seriously.
Well,
like
but this is not the way to do it.
Yeah. I know. I mean, for me, it's like all I remember is Sean Spicer hiding in some bushes.
That's fake news.
That's all I remember. Right? I remember Sean Spicer lying to us and claiming that there were more people at the inauguration than there were.
Bullshit alert. Bullshit alert.
Lying to us and claiming that there were more people at the
inauguration than there were.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period. Both in person and around the globe. Even the New York Times printed a photograph showing that a misrepresentation of the crowd in the original tweet in their paper, which showed the full extent of the support, depth, and crowd and intensity that existed.
I remember...
There's a good show for ABC, Dancing with the Liars.
Yes, I mean, right?
Monday just got better, because The View is live. The ladies are making up for lost time when they put the hottest topics that blew up while they were away.
Like that, yeah.
Right, and I just remember him lying for the liar, repeatedly, and lying to the American people. I don't want to see him with the lime green shirt.
I don't want to see him with the lime green shirt.
I don't want to see it.
I left my daughter when she was 14 months old in the back of our car. And I was with my husband, and it was a hot July day. And literally, Anderson, my husband left her in the car, I left her in the car, went into Home Depot, I went into the garden center, and it was only after about 5 minutes that my husband came to me and said, oh my God, we left Paloma in the car.
I have no
but
interest
Trump loved
in
it. He loved it.
It's a great gift.
I kind of loved it too. I mean, look, just entertainment value. I don't mean this is.
Oh God!
I said that's me when my Amazon packages come.
There was a video of Sean Spicer after the performance crying in his car, and at first people thought it was because he felt that he didn't do a very good job, but then he said he was watching a video of his kids watching him on TV, and that made him cry, that he was so proud of that moment. So I think, ultimately we're all human beings.
What else is
No
he
one
gonna
wants
do?
to be mocked. No one wants to be made fun of, and
then he shouldn't have lied to the American people repeatedly.
May every person that laughs at your sophomoric effort be a reminder of your eternal mediocrity and pierce your heart like a knife.
Then he shouldn't have lied to the American people repeatedly.
Who cares?
That's how I really. I mean.
So tell me, is there any tread left on the tires at all? Or at this point, would it be like throwing a hot dog down a hallway?
You've got to think, for me, you've got to think about what he did. He lied about the inauguration crowd. Think about what he did.
He lied about the inauguration crowd.
Well, whatever helps you sleep at night, bitch.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period. Both in person and around the globe.
And then he shouldn't have lied to the American people repeatedly.
Who cares?
That's how I really. I mean, you've got to think, for me, you've got to think about what he did. He lied about the inauguration crowd.
And do you stand by your statement that that was the most watched inaugural address?
Sure, it was the most watched inaugural. When you look at, just the one network alone got 16.9 million people online. Another couple of the networks, there were tens of million people that watched that online. Never mind the audience that was here, 31 million people watched it on television. Combine that with the tens of millions of people that watched it online on a device. It's unquestionable. I don't see any numbers that dispute that. When you add up attendance, viewership, total audience in terms of tablets, phones, on television, I'd love to see any information that proves that otherwise.
And then
so, do you dispute that?
Well, I don't want to get into numbers.
I do.
Okay.
I mean, okay. I'm just saying, if you're asking me a question about my integrity, I have a right to say, if you add up the network streaming numbers, Facebook, YouTube, all of the various live streamings that we have information on so far, I don't think there's any question. It was that it was the largest watched inauguration ever.
So are you retracting your claim on Saturday that it was the largest crowd in person?
That's not what I said.
Well, you said this was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the globe.
Right. To
Both
witness
in person,
and around the globe. Yes. The total audience it was.
Total audience, but not simply in person.
But right. But again, I didn't say in person, both in person and around the globe to witness it.
You're saying those together.
No, that's actually what I said. It's not what I don't know how you can interpret it differently. That's literally what I said. To witness it in person and around the globe. Total audience, yes.
But not in person.
Hold on, let me just...
But you're saying here, just to clarify, you're not saying, and you weren't saying on Saturday, that it was the largest inaugural crowd in person.
I am not. I am saying that it was the total largest audience.
CNN pulled off the ruse by posting side-by-side pictures. On the left, President Obama's crowd size at its peak in 2009, but on the right, a picture shot early in the morning of President Trump's crowd, a crowd that didn't materialize in its full glory until just before the swearing-in ceremony due to the threat of rain. The Trump crowd picture is not faked, but the implication is intentionally fake. The circular building in the center of the Trump frame is the Hirshhorn Sculpture Museum. It is between 7th and 8th Street, halfway between the Washington Monument, which is basically on 16th Street, and the Capitol. CNN's article originally said that the Obama crowd was 1.8 million people in 2009. According to the Gateway Pundit, that was later refuted and the estimate brought down to 800,000. After CNN released a new interactive gigapixel photo of the Trump inaugural ceremony at the time Trump was actually speaking, it was clear that most of the squares between the Hirshhorn and the Washington Monument were crammed with people. This showed that Trump's crowd was at least as large as Obama's 2009 crowd. It's pretty bad when a so-called news organization will lie about anything to gain the smallest political advantage.
He lied about the inauguration crowd.
Ryan Ross is reporting Michael Flynn promised full cooperation to the Mueller team and is prepared to testify that as a candidate, Donald Trump directed him to make contact with the Russians. Yes!
Well, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and it's beginning to look a lot like collusion. Yeah.
The investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired with the Russian government in its election interference activities.
He goes to jail. He goes to jail. He goes to jail. Lock him up. Lock them up.
I mean, does everybody understand how significant that is? There's no, I mean, it's unbelievable. If true, and there is no legal definition for collusion. There's no legal definition for collusion, but there is the legal definition for conspiracy, and conspiracy requires an overt act from one person to the other. I could prove an overt act easily.
Special Counsel Mueller did not find any evidence of criminal conspiracy between anyone associated with the Trump campaign and Russia. So that's a big victory for the president. It's a really unequivocal victory.
We're going to do our best every time we can. I'm going to come out here and tell you the facts as I know them, and if we make a mistake, I'll do our best to correct it. But I think that it's as I mentioned the other day, it is a two-way street. There are many mistakes that the media makes all the time. They misreport something, they don't report something, they get a fact wrong.
Think about what ex-presidential spokespeople do now. Most of them are like extremely well-established political analysts and working on other campaigns.
He had to have known the moment he went behind that bush.
Yeah, that was
that was what people were going to take. You know?
I do like
but
him,
for
though.
a minute, you know, it felt like maybe he was going to make a turn. And I think, you know, people do what they have to do, and you know.
Did he really go behind a bush?
Yeah,
I thought that
Yes.
was Melissa McCarthy just in the SNL skit.
No, he really did it. He was hiding.
That was
in
real.
a bush. I wish we had a picture.
We are living in very, very strange times.